All right, hi guys, good morning, happy Wednesday. So this morning we're gonna crush some IPAs. I took this day for the work with me when Lynn's asked, just because I feel like it's been a while since I've done this with you guys. So I figured I would hop on here this morning and we do some IPAs. I like to tell my team, whenever we do IPAs together, waking up in the morning, for me personally, I like to do my self-development. So if you guys, if that's something that you need to do, make sure that you hop off and go do that. This is going to be recorded. It should be recording. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, cool. And then we're going to dive in. My favorite thing to do to get a successful, off the ground running day is getting a good focused round of IPAs in the morning. It doesn't have to be, 7 in the morning right when you wake up, but I like to do it after self-development, and I really like to focus on getting quality time in, just focus on this and really, hit every single thing that I want to get done, because let's face it, we get started, we jump into our days, things happen, and our IPAs don't get done, and then we're like, wow, I didn't work my business. So let's jump in. Like I said, if you did not do self-development and you feel like you need to do that, jump off. This is being recorded. But the first thing that I want us all to do while we're on here, the biggest thing in this community is the fact that we have this community, and that does appeal to a lot of potentials. So why don't we take a second real quick to all get this up on our story, tag each other, share that we're on a Zoom, show them that, we do get on and we hang out with each other and work. So I'm going to take a picture real quick. If you guys want to do that too, that's totally cool. Say cheese. All right, cool. I totally should get my toothbrush out of the corner, right? Funny story, I'm using my bathroom as an office because my boyfriend's on a work call out there. So disregard any weird things. All right, cool. So I just saved that to edit for later. All right, so get that up. I'm gonna give you guys another minute to post that. Get some of my activate down. I'm obsessed with it. All right, so it looks like most people are done that. So, all right, so first things first, what I love to do in the morning when I wake up, this is something that has come so naturally to me, is when I'm taking my products in the morning, which if you're like me, I literally can't get up without taking them. I always have my phone in my hand. So if you guys don't have pictures on your phone, feel free to take some when you're off of here. But I have a ton of pictures saved in my phone. I like to save actually on Instagram in the little settings for your stories. You can have it save everything you post on your story. So that way it's super easy to just transition it to Facebook. I have so many blanks of products saved. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that up now. I usually like to write something like, good morning, or so excited to start this day, something that shows my audience that these products are going to help me start my day and get on a ball. So this is what I'm going to put up for an example, just something simple like that. So if you guys have a picture, get that up so it shows your audience, not only do you talk about these products every day, but you also take them. So take a second to get something up on your story if you have not already. All right. Okay, so let's dive in. So normally something that I do when I'm waking up every single day is obviously I check in with my team and I send them IPAs, what I'm doing, so that way they can follow along. So something that I always tell them is showing your face on your stories, guys, is so incredibly huge. Even if you're just, talking about a personal promo you're running. Obviously, we have that $25 preloaded credit. If you guys still have credits, guys, it's so good to go on your story and talk face to face and start to make that connection with your audience. Obviously, I'm not saying do that right now because we're all on here, but if you have time today when you're making products, like I make my activate during the day sometimes, and I literally just, record myself and talk through what I'm doing. You can talk about personal promos. If you did like shopping hauls or anything like that, you can show your audience that by talking to your story. So kind of having that on there throughout the day, I feel like really does add to your stories, because not only are they seeing the marketing you're putting up for, you know, our products or the business opportunity, but they're getting to hear your voice. They're getting to hear your passion, you know, who you are as a person. And that really helps. I had someone message me yesterday who honestly, I didn't even like know that they were following me. Their page, when I went to it, was like very, you know, not network marketing. They didn't really post about their life or anything. And she got my DMs to my story and was like, hey, I've been following you for 2 years. I just wanted to let you know, like, you're super passionate. I love your passion. Like, people will notice that. So I know it can be a little bit scary. I know that it can be, you know, intimidating to talk to your story if you're not someone who like really puts yourself out there like that. But I promise you guys, start to implement that during the day when you're like doing pockets of IPAs. That will help so much. So I just wanted to put that in there before we actually get started on interactions. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over to Facebook. And I love to start my IPAs on Facebook with birthdays. It's honestly one of the most simple things that you can do. And it's getting you to post on people's feeds who you're not normally interacting with. So let's go take a few seconds to go wish our friends on Facebook a happy birthday. If you're on a phone on Facebook, you can just type in the bar like birthdays and it should pop up. If you're on a computer, it should have a sidebar. So it'll pop up like that if you're on your phone. And I just like to go down and post on people's walls and say happy birthday. I know some leaders like to message them. I personally don't do that, but totally personal preference, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go down real quick and just say happy birthday. It's going to get people noticing your page more. You know, maybe there's someone in there whose birthday like you haven't seen in like 5 years, but maybe they're looking for products, right? You're going to pop up and that's going to give them an opportunity to go check you out, see what you're doing, how you're doing, etc. Let's go ahead and work on birthdays for a few minutes. And if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to pop them in the chat as well, and I can answer them as I go. Yes, I love that, Jordan. People buy you before they buy the products. Yes, that's so incredibly true. You know, I always say that to my girls too, like, think of how many of us are selling this product, right? There's so many people in this company right now, and we're not even 8 years old yet, guys. Think about that. There's gonna be more people. People join you for you, not because of the product. They'd have a million options for people if that was why. So just like Jordan said, they buy you before they buy the product. So that was a really good point. I'm just gonna finish up these birthdays real quick. I also feel like birthdays going through, because you're seeing so many people you don't normally interact with, that it can be a nice tool to help you be like, wait, I'm following you, or who is this person? You know, it kind of gets you some different people that you're not used to seeing every day. I got a lot of birthdays today. All right, so take a second to finish that up and then we'll move on. All right, so the next thing we're gonna jump into, we're gonna stay on Facebook and we're gonna go through stories. So if at this moment you don't have anything up at your story, this is the time in the morning where I like to put things on my Facebook story. Now, I try to use both my Instagram stories and Facebook stories equally throughout the day. However, I'm just way more amped to be on Instagram. So I try to take time in the morning to make sure I put up at least a business post or a product post on my Facebook story every single morning. So that way it's up. I told this tip to my team as well. If you guys have like any types of pictures that aren't necessarily Thrive related, but like they're cuter, or maybe it's like you and your family or whatever, I like to put up like a few pictures on my Facebook story before I put anything business related, because those people on my feed, if you notice when you're on Facebook, the stories are like at the top of the news feed. I noticed that, at least for mine, those pictures that I put up first on my story are usually the ones that pop up to like showcase my story, right? So for that, people are going to see a personal post rather than a business post right off the bat. So they're going to be more inclined to click it. And I found that my views on my Facebook stories have gone from like 25 since not using them to over 300, which I do have like 4,000 something friends because I add to my network every day, but it is a really great tool to add. So I like to put up personal photos. Like I did like a selfie yesterday and then another selfie, and then I did the 3 steps and I kind of like walked through it. So this is still up, so I'm not going to put anything else up, but I put a poll on the last one and I got like 14 votes on it for product stuff. So if you don't have anything up right now, put something up, and then we're going to go through and interact with stories. Thanks, Amanda. A lot of trial and error these last 5 years, let me tell you. A lot of trial and error. All right, so hopefully you guys have something up. I'm going to go through and start working on actually interacting with stories. I know a lot of people like unmute other Thrivers and stuff. I do that for the feed if it's like getting way too clogged up, but personally for stories, I kind of just flip through and skip, you know, Thrivers and don't necessarily interact with just Thrivers. Obviously, if like I'm close with them, I'll say like, oh, cute or whatever, but for the most part, I kind of just flip through, try to find something that I relate to. Maybe it's like an old high school friend who's posting their kids, or, you know, doing whatever. Like honestly, anything that I can relate to in any way, I'll make a comment on. A nice little tip for you guys, when you are responding to stories or like anything, honestly, comments, whatever, make sure that you are writing like literally a full sentence. I tell my girls 4 words or more, not including emojis. That will help your post get more engagement, and honestly it helps to connect better when you're actually like either writing a sentence, asking someone a question, rather than just saying like, oh, like you're pretty, like that's cool. You can put some substance in there, right? Just like we need our veggies, we need some substance in our interactions, guys. So I'm going to go through and just start interacting. I'm going to do this for 5 minutes. So I'm going to turn the timer on. And we'll get started. So let's go do some interactions on Facebook stories. I'm going to keep working through these stories for the next couple minutes. All right, just about 2 minutes left. All right, start to finish them up. Gonna move on in a second. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds to finish those up, and then we'll move on to feed interactions. So got about 1:30 left. Sip my Activate over here. I'm like obsessed with Activate. I think I have a problem. Like, I want to drink it all day long. So good. So good. I think I'm equally obsessed with, well, yeah, Blast. I've been like on Blast. Blast is just so good. But I have been bouncing back and forth between strawberry mango and watermelon. And I'm just like, wow, this is literally like candy in a cup that gives me extreme energy. All right. So we're going to stop there for stories on birthdays. Now we're going to move over to feed interactions. So for me personally, basically how I like to do this is I'll just go to my feed for 5 minutes. I'll work down my feed. And then sometimes I'll do 5 minutes additionally on my most recent feed. Today, I think I'm just going to focus for the sake of this Zoom, so it's not like 10,000 years long. I'm just going to do most recent feeds since that is going to make your feed chronological and it's going to allow you to see people you're probably not normally seeing or brand new posts. So basically how to get there is if you go to your Facebook, so here's my like home feed. If you go to these little 3 lines right here, it should pop up somewhere on these white boxes. If it doesn't, go down here to see more, and then it should pop up somewhere. I think mine is already shown. Yeah, so mine is already up here. So I'm just gonna click it here, but yours might be under see more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down the feed for 5 minutes. I want you guys to really pay attention to who you're interacting with. I know it's so easy to fall into the like comparison and like, oh, I want to interact with this person because they seem like so cool and like perfect for this, but really make sure that your interactions and who you're going out there and trying to network with, that you truly relate to them, because it's going to be so much easier off the bat to establish that relationship with them rather than forcing it. So go down your feed. We're going to do 5 minutes. Again, 4 words or more comments, make them genuine, have intent behind them. And this is also a really good time too. Like if you see people on your feed that you're like, whoa, sis, like that is not me. I want no parts of your craziness. There's an unfollow option. So make sure you're using it because it's going to help to unclog your feed from like memes you don't want to see or like crazy like scariness that you're just like, wow, my eyes didn't need to see that because I know I've been seeing a lot of it. So let's go down the feed. I'm going to start the timer for 5 minutes now, and then we'll get those in, and then we will move on. So let's do this. Yes, Nicole, since they came out with the new flavor, I'm just like, that's all I drink, literally. That and Blast. Okay, let's do these. And also, if you guys are a part of like any groups or maybe you're not, definitely try to add yourself into some groups, because not only are they great for interactions, but there's so many things out there that really can relate to your fives, right? We talk about branding ourselves and sharing the things that make us us. Well, joining groups that have a lot in common with your fives has really helped me personally. And I found a lot of people that I truly do connect with who have become my potential. So another tip, if you guys have time today to go through and really try and find like 5 good groups that relate to like who you are, the things you love. You can't hear me? Can anyone else hear me? I'm good? Okay. It's showing up on my end. Do we got it? Okay. Okay. Oh, I know that life. I know that life. Okay, good. All right. So what I'm saying is, yeah, go through today, try to add yourself to a few groups that you truly do think that like you relate to. I'm part of, like, for example, I love Aldi. Like, I don't know if anyone else knows what that is, but it's a grocery store. Obsessed with it. It's super cheap. They have this aisle that like basically has random stuff in it that's like super cool. I'm a part of this group. It's called Aldi Nerd, and like I love it. So definitely a good tip to find relatable people, find things you might want to buy in the store, but it's pretty great. So what if all your most recent things you don't connect with? Okay, so if you are going down, yes, Isle of Shame. I knew there were some nerds in here. So basically, Olivia asked if all of your most recent things are things that you don't connect with, do you go and delete them? Now, I think that question it's kind of weird, because it's like, okay, like I don't relate to these things, right? So it's like, okay, if you don't relate to them, let's go through and unfollow the things that you're like, I don't relate to this. Like if it's somebody like shaking their booty, like, okay, let's take that off there, right? Like you don't want certain things on your Facebook feed, because like honestly, for me, before I got into network marketing, I used Facebook, but not as intentionally. And I feel like when you start to use it intentionally, even if you haven't, like for me personally, my generation, we grew up on Instagram and Snapchat. Like Snapchat was near the end, but like Instagram was most of what we used. So using Facebook for this business wasn't something that I was very like versed in, I guess you could say. So I had to start kind of building my own Facebook algorithm by liking and commenting and interacting and adding the things that I wanted to see and taking that time to go through and unfollow. So for example, I'll show you something, like I don't know who this person is, and she posted like just a little meme or whatever. So like, yeah, it's cute, but like I don't relate to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click these 3 little dots up here, and it pops up with like this, all these options, right? And so I'm going to click, first of all, you can unfollow the person. So let's say I'm going to unfollow her, and that will hide the post, and like anything else she posts, I won't see, but it's not like unfriending her. I typically like to go through and unfriend people like at a certain point. I think it's like 5,000 friends you have a maximum on Facebook. So if you're adding to your network every single day, like that will creep up on you every couple of weeks or every couple of months. So I like to take a day to truly go through and like literally unfriend people on Facebook, but you can do that to kind of keep your feed a little bit more like not as messy, for lack of a better term. Okay, so that was 5 minutes we did on the feed. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add to our Facebook network. So the reason that I like to do birthday story interactions, feed interactions, and then my network is because I feel like once I take that time to get all that stuff on my story, right, and I'm going through and interacting for 5 minutes, it gives my audience time to see my interactions and say, hey, this person just liked or commented on my stuff. Let me go check out who she is. Then they're going to see that my story is boosted up with whether it's personal stuff, product stuff, business stuff. They're going to be more inclined to go look at it after you've done the interaction. So that's why I like to put that stuff up personally. And then I'm going to go do my adding on my network. So real quick, I'm just going to do this for probably around like 3 minutes. Let's do for this, because you know we don't need to go through a mass ad. But let's take some time on Facebook to just try and find some people that we interact with, or people that we might relate to that we want to add to our Facebook friends. Now, I get a lot of questions about how I do this. Honestly, there's no like right or wrong way. I like to personally, and it might be kind of weird to some people, but like I think in my head, like who do I know personally, right? Who do I know in my life that is like my ideal target customer? And they like to say, you know, your target customer is someone who would use these products for pretty much the same reason you started using them. So when I think about that, you know, I personally started to use these because I wanted more energy. I personally wanted to gain lean muscle. You know, I wanted to be more healthy. I try to think of someone who like I knew in my life. Like, okay, I played a lot of sports, so I definitely have a lot of coaches. I have a lot of old athletes on my Facebook. So I try to think of that person in my life, and I'll search their name. And if they have their friend section open, I'll go through and interact with their friends. I'll add from their networks. That's kind of how I do it. And I tend to find more relatable people on Facebook that way. It's a little bit hard to do it like that on Instagram, obviously, because there's so much more like followings and stuff. But I like to use Facebook kind of just like think about people in my life, or, you know, maybe I'll search a random name and see who pops up, kind of interact with their following. Again, this is where the groups come in. If you guys are in some groups, you can go through, kind of interact, see the posts, see what people are talking about, look at their page, you know, all that good stuff. So let's take a couple minutes to go through and just add some people to our network. So that way we're getting new people seeing our stuff all throughout the day. I'm gonna go ahead and start a 3-minute timer for that, because we don't need to do this for too long. Another good one that, sorry, I've been doing is like, you know, if you have anyone in your like neighborhood or anything that's not in this business, I like to go through and like network with their networks as well. Like personally, I have a friend from college, which was in Pennsylvania, and she's from LA. So I like to go, you know, to find people in this area from like her networks, because she grew up here. So she's probably more inclined to have more people in the general greater Los Angeles area for me. So really think about it, right? Like have intent behind adding. I know it's so easy to just like press add like a million times, but that's not going to be beneficial to your business. So that's why I like to really kind of take some time to think about it, and then go through and like find people who I truly do relate to. I also try to stick to adding people that I don't have like 150 mutual friends. Like obviously if they're in another network marketing company and they have like a bajillion mutual friends, they're probably going to be already seeing a lot of people from Lavelle, right? Because that's just how network marketing works. You're in it, you see other people in other companies. So I like to stick to people who have like less than 10 mutual friends. But that's enough to where they'll see it and be like, oh, this person might know so-and-so, you know? So it kind of like makes those connections for you, which is why I really like to add every single day on Facebook. Just gonna take a couple seconds to finish that up. And I also tell my girls too, like when you are doing adding to your networks and stuff, and you find someone who you're like, wow, like this is my dream team potential, like she seems awesome, don't be afraid to go through their friends and see who they're networking with, because at the end of the day, if they are relatable to you, there's probably going to be somebody out there who's relatable to them. And I know it's kind of like, well, what if they join me and like I'm taking from their network? At the end of the day, guys, who joins you in this business is meant to be with you. And it all works out. Funny story, I actually one day, like last month, had a potential who I, you know, had no idea she had any like connection to anyone on my team. And she signed with me and we put her in the chat. And then I found out that one of the girls that I had signed months before, they were best friends. So you think, why would she come to me and join me? But at the end of the day, it's a perfect example to say like, who's meant to be with you in this business will come to you and will join you. So don't be afraid to go out there and truly network with, you know, different people and different networks and their friend groups, because it's really going to help you like find the people you're meant to be with. Nicole asked if you are unfollowing people in your friends on Facebook, they still see your posts and content. I believe that they still see your stuff, but I could be wrong. I'm not like Facebook guru. I believe that they will see your stuff, but you won't see their stuff. It does not like unfriend you, so that's why I'm going to assume that's how it works. But if anyone on here knows for sure, double check me. All right, so the timer for adding to your network just went off. So we're gonna go over and switch gears and go over to Facebook now to finish this off. So the number one thing that I love to do on stories, and I was actually in bed last night laughing with Connor because I was like, who should we check in on today? Like stories, guys, on Instagram, I love them because I truly feel like when you're utilizing them correctly, that people can truly start to learn about you and know what you're doing in your life, and they'll be interested, right? We love as humans to be nosy. We love reality TV. We love to know people's business. You know, that's why we use attraction marketing, because we want to attract those people into our business, right? I love to use stories and to utilize the stories and interacting with them to truly create that genuine connection and learn about people. So let's take 5 minutes real quick to go through our stories. Just like, you know, everyone else does. I think this is pretty common, but I like to scroll all the way to the end of the bubbles at the top. So I'm seeing people that I normally don't interact with, you know, all the time. So let's go ahead and work backwards. And again, don't, you know, interact with someone if you're like, oh, I don't relate to them, or like, I don't know what to say to this. If it feels forced, it's probably forced. So just go in, you know, if you have something to say it. If you don't, move on. So we're going to do that for 5 minutes. I'm going to start a timer right now. Seeing everybody in the gym is making me so jealous that my gym is not open yet. Oh, Jenna, you're so lucky. I think mine's opening this week in my apartment complex, but fingers crossed. All right, so we got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. So let's keep doing those. Story replies, power through, make sure they have intent behind them. About a minute left. All right, so start finishing those up. We got about 30 seconds, and then we're going to move on to feed interactions on Instagram. We're going to do 2 different types of interactions on the feed. All right, so we're going to move on. Let's go to our Instagram feed. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to do the same thing we did on Facebook, go down, interact. For the feed, like I said, it's not, obviously it's not like in chronological order on Instagram. So just kind of go down and, you know, interact as you wish. And then after this round, we're going to go into our following, and we're going to use the little toggle arrows. And then we're going to go in and do 5 minutes with our most latest, like, people that we have followed already. So let's go down our feed for 5 minutes, interact with this, and then we'll move on. Again, I like to make sure I'm doing 4 words, not counting emojis, and truly ask yourself, am I relating to this person? Let's go down and do that. Another tip too, like if you have been following a lot and you like don't want to actually follow anybody, but you want to like save accounts so that you can go back and follow them later. A little tip when you're doing feed interactions, that little bookmark on the side, you can click that and it'll pop up save to collection on your thing. If you click that, here we go, it'll pop up with like your saved collections. Like I have follow, post inspo, fashion, workouts and stuff. You can literally click this little plus button, and I like to call it follow, right? So like today, Wednesdays are my unfollow days. So today I'm not going to be following anyone on Instagram, but I go through and unfollow today. So that allows me when I'm doing my feed interactions or when I'm, you know, looking for people to interact with, whether it's like through places, hashtags, whatever, I will actually go through and save the people to that follow collection rather than following them. So that way I'm still interacting with them. I'm still getting them to see me in their notifications. And then when I do want to follow, I can go through that collection and just kind of follow those people real quick that I've already interacted with. I do find that it really helps as well when like I don't want to follow them right away because maybe like it's my unfollow day or maybe my following ratio is too high, whatever it may be. I have found doing that just because I didn't follow them first is not going to stop them from following you. So I found that going out there and being social, even on days where I don't want to necessarily like add to my following, interacting and saving to that follow collection has really helped me. So that's just a little side tip for you guys. So we got about 3 minutes left on the feed. So let's continue doing that. And don't worry if like you're behind or you feel like we're going too fast. This is being recorded. Oh, I'm sure there's tons of people I don't even talk to from college and high school in my following that I need to get rid of. So I feel that. So basically how I work unfollowing, so Nicole asked, have you ever done the same for unfollowing, or do you just unfollow organically during the week? So for me, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't really go, it's like a weird question for me because I just like, I don't really pay attention to it. My thing is I try to make sure like on Instagram, if you have like you're following, not your followers, if you are following 7,500 people, that's the maximum that you can follow. I think it'll let you go to like 501, but for the most part, it doesn't let you go much higher than 7,500. So I try to keep that as like my buffer kind of. So like I've had this same Instagram account since I was in like 7th grade. So it's been a long time of building it, but I'm following right now 6,859 people. And I want to say like 2 weeks ago, that was at like 7,430. So I took some time last week to go through and unfollow. But I really honestly, like I kind of judge it by that number. Like I'm trying now to stay below 7,000. But obviously like you want to add to your network. So you kind of got to be like vigilant of that. But basically what I do is I try to stick to a schedule of Sundays and Wednesdays. I'll go through the least interacted category in my following. And this is like not what we're doing right now, but I'll just explain anyway. So basically I go to that following section, that least interacted category, I click that. And if you notice, it says at the top, review accounts you've linked with, or sorry, review accounts you've interacted with in the last 90 days. So these are accounts that like I really haven't interacted with over the last 3 months, and they probably haven't interacted with me. So what I do is I go to this category, click the first person, and then you'll click their following. So that button. And if your name comes up first, notice how my name comes up first, she follows me back. But if my name doesn't come up first, so I'll show you guys one for example. Let's just do, it's hard because I went through these so many times, so a lot of them do follow me back. Let's see, Aspen. Okay, whatever, I can't find one right now. But basically, if they don't follow you back, your name will not be the first person on that list. So I kind of use that as my tool to say, okay, if you're not following me, I'm going to go ahead and unfollow you. It's just a way to clean it out. And obviously, if they're not following me, they're not seeing my stuff unless they're like stalking me on the side. So that's kind of how I do it. Today's Wednesday, so I'll probably go through and do it at some point today. I pretty much try to stick to like 2 rounds of that list, if I even have that many. Honestly, I've been going through it. Like I said, I did unfollow a lot of people last week. So a lot of them are just kind of like accounts that I normally don't really interact with, but we follow each other. So I'm probably going to kind of like change up how I unfollow, probably using the toggle tool, which is also in your following. But just a reminder, those follow apps that you can log into, they block you. And I know that some people still have them on their phone and they're logged in. If you do, my recommendation would be to log out and delete it off your phone, because once you log into that, Instagram knows immediately. And I'm not necessarily sure what it does in the background that affects your algorithm, but it does. One of my girls went through and did her unfollowing manually, but kind of looked at that app just for like, you know, I guess guidance, and it blocked her for like a couple days. She couldn't post a picture with a caption, she couldn't comment, she couldn't like. So obviously, like in a business where that's basically our IPAs, it's going to be kind of stressful. So she's been really hitting the stories hard, and honestly, that's all you can do at that point. But this, doing it twice a week, kind of separating it and doing like 2 rounds within like hour in between, it's really helped me not get blocked. Knock on wood, I haven't been blocked for like months. So it's worked pretty well for me. Okay, so we just did feed interactions. The next thing we're going to do is work on like our latest follows, and then that's how we're going to finish it off. So real quick before we end this, I want you guys to go to your following on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on Instagram, and then go to where it says sort by default. I don't know if you guys can see my phone. Notice how it says sort by default and it has these little arrows. You're going to click those arrows and change it to latest. So that way it's going to show you guys who you lately, you know, probably yesterday, last week, whenever you followed last, it's going to put it in that order. So that way you can go through and interact with those people. So what I want you guys to do for the next 5 minutes, we can finish this off, is go to your following, switch your little arrows to latest, and then we're going to start at the top and just basically go to their page and, like some stuff. I typically, when I'm doing interactions on the feed for Instagram, I like to do like 3 to 4 of their pictures. I don't like to go down and 8,000 pictures, because it's going to just clog their whole notifications. They're going to be like, who is this weirdo? So I like to do 3 to 4 pictures, maybe 2 to 3. Honestly, it doesn't have to be that many. And then I like to comment on at least 1 picture, and remember, 4 words or more, not including emojis. That way they're going to see that you just went to their page, looked through some of their photos, but you weren't a weirdo, you weren't stalking them, and then you commented something obviously with intent or something genuine. And what I have noticed, when you do this, most likely they're going to reciprocate that, whether they know who you are or not. For the most part, Instagram has become a really, really, really social community where you can literally just make friends and do, go to their page, just a couple pictures where it's oh, hey girl, let's be friends, or, whatever. So go through, let's get some time to do that. I'm going to start the timer right now, and then we will finish it up and be good to go for our day. So I'm going to start that right now. Brianna calling herself out. It was Bri. Oh, perfect example from stories, guys. I just replied to someone's story about their new shoes that they got, and I was like, oh my god, I love them, they're so comfy, I have them in this color. She didn't even follow me, she just followed me back. So that's how interactions work. And also, another thing that has really helped me, this isn't really necessarily interactions on Instagram related, but something that I want to put out there for this whole tribe and team together doesn't mix. For this whole tribe in general, I know we talk a lot about going live and all that stuff. Instagram just switched their settings to when you go live, you can literally save your live video as an Instagram TV. So if you guys have not yet got on your live video and literally talked through your 3 steps or shared why you joined this business, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you at some point try it out, because you can actually put a cute little cover photo so it matches your feed, but it shows up in your feed. So the people who are seeing as they're scrolling, through their Instagrams during the day, just they'll see your picture in the feed, they're going to see your video, and it actually shows them I think a 2-minute little clip of whatever your video is, so they can kind of see it as they're scrolling, and it's really nice to grab their attention, especially because you can put titles on your lives now. So I don't know if you noticed that when your friends on Instagram are going live, it'll say so and so is going live, and then it'll say a title come watch me do my makeup, or today's routine or something, I don't know. But it's been really beneficial for me because they post to your Instagram TV profile. So people who are on Instagram TV just scrolling through videos and they find you, it's so easy for them to relate to you and get to know who you are from watching that video. I've had so many people, even videos I uploaded 2 weeks ago about the business, I've had people liking them in my feed and then following me. So definitely, guys, if you aren't comfortable going live, I highly recommend to jump out of that comfort zone ASAP and go live, because it's going to help you so much. Like I said, the same thing with showing your face on stories. Really just going live and jumping out of your comfort zone. Brianna, the one who I was talking about unfollowing, she never talked on her stories before. And now she's talking on them every day, showing her 3 steps, talking about promos. And it's honestly so amazing because people are just watching it and they're getting to know her and her personality, and it's helped so much. So I definitely recommend you guys to do that. We got about 1:30 left on these interactions, so let's power through those and then we'll be good to go for today. And if anyone has any questions real quick, pop them in the chat so I can answer them before we jump off. Alrighty, so 38 seconds, get them in. I don't see any more questions in the chat. What does it say? Okay, that's really weird. So if it says invalid, it's either probably your Wi-Fi connection or I don't know, maybe like a glitch in the actual app. Maybe you try deleting it off your phone and re-downloading it. I'm not really sure. I've never seen that before. All right, so there was our timer. So we have completed our focus round today with 8 minutes to spare. So, okay, Brian said, what is your recommendation for social media trainers that you request to add them? What do you mean like fitness trainers, or do you mean like social media consultants? Not really sure. Oh, so like people in the DM who are like, hey, you can buy this and I'll help you grow your following. Is that what you mean? Okay, yeah. I honestly, I have like 80, 90 requests in my DMs right now of like those types of people. I honestly don't, I don't use any of them. I did at one point in my network marketing career, I started this like, it was like a monthly subscription with basically the same kind of thing. It was like a company that was supposed to help me grow my social. And what I found is that I was paying them $70 a month to literally do what I was doing. And what I also found is that a lot of them, obviously, like in order to grow, you kind of have to clean out your following, right? So it was like the first week that I did it, it was literally just people unfollowing me. And I was like, well, I could have did this for a week and not paid for it. So I honestly don't feel like they are beneficial. I feel like it's a waste of money, honestly, in my opinion, just because we have this amazing community here. And I know that I've taught Lynn tons about Instagram. She's taught me tons about Facebook. And I feel like the people that we have in this community, we have people that are versed in so many different areas of social media that we really do cover all the bases of like the newest and greatest ways to do things. I feel like we're really good at that. And honestly, like if you guys don't know my story, I started with this company in March of 2018. I was with them for about 11 months. And then I walked away to go join like a brand new shiny diamond comp plan company. And I was with them for 9 months. And I was showing up. I was the #1 enroller in the company. And I was making literally nothing. So I think it goes to show that like other companies like Lindsay and Em and everyone else says, like it is unmatched what we have here. And that doesn't just go for our comp plan, that goes for our training, that goes for the people in this community as far as like knowing about this industry and stuff. Like the leaders that we have here, I've been through 4 other companies, I've seen elsewhere, nothing compares. Like I was the lens in the company that I joined, and like I was doing everything that I knew and I had learned from here. But at the end of the day, like what we teach here, I feel like honestly is so much better than what any of those people out there DM us about, especially because if you notice, a lot of times you'll get DMs from people who are like, you know, oh, like buy this package and I'll grow you to like this many followers. But at the end of the day, half of them don't even have it, like 50 followers. And I'm just like, you have nothing, like you're coming to me, you know? But just like Shannon said, it's organic. Like that's going to help your business so much more. And obviously like having a nice following is like, okay, that's cool. That's good. That's great. It's a big number. But at the end of the day, you can truly have 200 people in your following and be a 200K in this team. Like it's not really about the people you I don't want to say it's not about the people you follow, but at the end of the day, it's about the conversations you're having and the intent and the genuine connections you're making with those people. So you could be following, 1,000 people and only 2 of them really be interested in what you're doing. So I think it really does go to show that like organically growing your following and being the person to go out there and basically handpick who you want to interact with is going to help you so much more than just paying somebody who doesn't like literally know you as a person, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to mass follow all these accounts that might relate to you. Like I literally remember this guy asking me for accounts that I thought I related to so he could go through their network. And like I could have done that, right? So that's my perspective. I just think that it's not worth it, honestly and personally. I mean, if that's what you want to do and you want to try it out, go for it. More power to you. But personally, I just think that it would be more beneficial to stick to your 5s and kind of do it yourself. And then Megan said, do you get back to your notifications when you do IPAs throughout the day? Honestly, this is my full-time job. So like I have the time to be on my phone basically all day if I wanted to. But obviously, like I'm an adult, I have a house, I need to clean stuff and do other things. So I honestly, like when it comes to my team and potentials and stuff, I try to jump on all my team's questions as soon as possible, but I'm at that point now where like thankfully my team is starting to step up and like I have other leaders under me. So once you get to that point, that definitely will be easier. But as far as like IPAs, I kind of do like a 30-minute round, like say I'll start, what time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning here in LA. So probably at like noon, I'll go through and do another 30 minutes of focused IPAs, and like any texts I get here and there, I'll just answer like when I see them, honestly. But if that's something that you feel like your schedule's too busy or you're like really stressed about it, set little timers or like pick 3 times throughout the day that you can sit down and say this 30 minutes is to answer messages. Don't feel pressured if you're busy that you have to go through and answer every single question. Like people are human, they need to respect your time. And that's the beauty of this business is we have that opportunity to say, okay, I'm plugged in right now or I'm not. So that's kind of how I go about it. Don't overcomplicate it. Do what feels right to you, right? Okay, so I think that is all the questions that we have so far. But we are going to jump off here. I will post this into Hustle and Thrive Tribe and Limitless page, whichever one you're in. So yeah, I hope you guys have a bomb Wednesday. If you need to be pumped up, have a dance party in the mirror. I promise it will help you. That's what I did this morning. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a great day, and I wish you all the blessings and the potentials, and let's crush it, guys. Bye.